Welcome to Civil Services Achievers Point. We are discussing today the Assam Tribune of 5th September 2020. At Civil Services Achievers Point, we have various courses. You can call at the number given below to avail the courses. Also, you can follow us on the social media platforms. This Assam Tribune analysis is based on the new pattern of APSC. However, it is also useful for UPSC and other state government examinations. These are the important newspaper articles we are discussing today and the important editorials. So students, let us begin with the news articles first. The first news article is State Government relaunches 3 welfare schemes. Now, this is a very important topic from our Assam GS paper. It is General Studies on Assam paper. Topic will be Polity and Governance. The State Health and Finance Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma relaunched 3 welfare schemes targeting entrepreneurs, students and tea garden community. So the first scheme is the Swami Vivekananda Youth Empowerment Yojana, that is SBYEM, under which rupees 50,000 each would be provided to 2 lakh youths of Assam as seed money. The state government will spend rupees 1,000 crore in the next 3 months from the state's exchequer without any banking linkage. So under this scheme, rupees 50,000 each would be provided to 2 lakh youths. Also, for this purpose, the state government will spend 1,000 crore in the next 3 months from its budget or from its exchequer without any banking linkage. As per the scheme, the groups which had registered themselves as self-help groups or joint liability groups or any kind of collective initiative before September 1st can avail the benefit, while the groups with 5 members would be entitled for rupees 2 lakh. Groups with 10 members would be entitled for 5 lakh and so on, with the maximum limit for members being 20. The scheme, which was first announced by the state government in the 2017-18, will be the biggest ever self-employment schemes announced by any state government in independent India. So this is a very, very important point, that the scheme which was announced in the 2017-18 will be the biggest self-employment schemes announced by any state government in independent India. The age and education criteria for availing the scheme would be 40 years and HLC pass respectively. Under now the second scheme, Abhinandan scheme. Now this is for the students. Many of you students may be aware of this scheme already. Under the Abhinandan scheme, one of the 3 schemes, the state government will deposit rupees 50,000 in every education loan account. The finance minister informed that the scheme was announced last year and accordingly subsidy was given to 1,545 beneficiaries. So this scheme was announced last year and already to 1,545 beneficiaries were benefited by this scheme. Now the third scheme relates to the tea garden community or the tea garden workers, as per which the state government would deposit 3,000 rupees. So state government will deposit 3,000 rupees to nearly 80 lakh bank account holders. That is the financial inclusion Jan Dhan account. For every household there should be a account financial inclusion. The state government will shell out nearly 25 crore for this scheme. So these are the major schemes announced by government. Students, please make a note of these schemes, and if any question comes in prelims or mains, we should be able to answer them correctly. Now coming to our next topic, this is a very very important topic. We will discuss this now. RBI revises priority sector lending norms. Now, what is the priority sector lending? Sorry, priority sector lending is the lending by the banks to the sectors which are very vulnerable and are very core to India's economy, like the agricultural, MSME. Okay, so these are the examples of priority sector lending. So the Reserve Bank of India has released its revised priority sector lending, wherein the credit limits have been raised for farmer producer organizations. So this is a very priority sector now, that farmer producer organizations, renewable energy, and for health infrastructure. In the wake of coronavirus pandemic, the health infrastructure has been in the prime focus. As announced by the RBI governor, startups should have been brought under the so the RBI has felt that startups should be brought under the priority sector lending. Bank finance of up to rupees 50 crore has been included as a fresh category under priority sector, and RBI statement said. The RBI statement said that a higher credit limit has been specified for farmers, producers, organizations or FPOs or farmers producers companies undertaking farming with assured marketing of their produce at a predetermined price. So the RBI has said that a higher credit limit means money availability or credit availability will be higher for farmers producers organizations. Also, further it has said that loan limits or credit limits for renewable energy has been increased or doubled, and credit limit for health infrastructure including those under Ayushman Bharat has been doubled. So along with the farmers producers organizations, renewable energy and health infrastructure is also brought under the priority sector lending. Apart from the startups, loans to farmers for installation of solar power plants, okay, loans for setting up of compressed biogas plants have been included as fresh categories eligible for finance under priority sector. So this is a important point. Students, please make a note of it. The Reserve Bank of India has comprehensively reviewed the priority sector lending guidelines to align it with emerging national priorities and bring sharper focus on inclusive development, and after having wide-ranging discussions with all stakeholders. So the Reserve Bank has reviewed the priority sector lending guidelines and has tried to align it with emerging national priorities. So the emerging national priorities are startups, farmers, producers, organizations, renewable energy, health infrastructure, okay, technologies which can minimize air pollution or environmental pollution, etc. And so that in order to focus on inclusive development, so these steps have been taken for bringing the focus on inclusive development. So this initiative has been taken for better credit penetration, means better loan availability to credit deficient areas, increase the lending to small and marginal farmers, and weaker sections boost credit to renewable energy and health infrastructure. So this is very important point. Also further, RBI says that the new guidelines aim to address regional disparities. Now what is meant by regional disparity? Suppose this is a map of India. Okay, so this is a rough map of India. So as we know, this western part is industrially more developed. Okay, this southern part is more developed, but there is a belt here right till Assam. So this area is not so much economically developed. So there is a regional disparity, means And in fact, within this area also, some areas are rich, like one or two areas or centers are rich in economic development. However, the others are not. So this is called regional disparity. There is a disparity of economic development within the region. So the new guidelines aim to address this regional disparity in the flow of priority sector credit. Higher weightage have been assigned to incremental priority sector credit in identified districts where priority sector credit flow is comparatively low, and the targets prescribed for small and marginal farmers and weaker sections are being increased in a phased manner. So this guideline is to be implemented in a phased manner, where it has been identified that credit flow is weak and the credit availability for small and marginal farmers and weaker sections are low. Now coming to our next important topic. Indian economy witnessing V-shaped recovery from the Department of Economic Affairs, it has said. So these type of news articles are very important because these are official, authentic comment made by the government department. So you can quote them in the mains answers also. And if any question comes in prelims, you should be able to answer them correctly. Now the background is and this topic we are studying under the general studies 3 paper, topic economic development. Days after India reported a 23.9% contraction, we have already covered this topic in our last class, current affairs, that days after India reported a 23.9% contraction in its gross domestic product GDP, the Department of Economic Affairs DEA in its monthly economic review for August has said that worst is over now as the Indian economy is going through a V-shaped recovery. So what is a V-shaped recovery? So economic growth. So if GDP is in the vertical axis and this is the time in the horizontal axis, so our GDP, if it is dips and then it starts to recovery, so this is called V-shaped recovery. DEA cited the uptick in manufacturing purchasing managers index, that is PMI, auto sales, e-way bills, among others, to show that the country is witnessing a recovery. So the Department of Economic Affairs has said that there is a upwards movement in the PMI index. PMI index represents the manufacturing sector activity or growth index, and there is a uptick or increase in the auto sales, e-way bills, among others, to show that the country is witnessing a recovery. It noted that as countries unlocked in the quarter starting in July, recovery is underway globally. So this is not only with India, but also this phenomena is happening globally. India too is witnessing a sharp V-shaped recovery. India's manufacturing purchasing index, it is PMI, at 52.2 has moved into expansionary zone in August for the first time since the lockdown, presenting much required recovery prospects for the manufacturing sector. It added that V-shaped pattern of recovery is seen in the high frequency indicators, including auto sales, tractor sales, fertilizer sales, railway freight traffic, steel consumption, production, and cement production. So the department has given data on the pattern of recovery, which is seen from the high frequency indicators, including auto sales, means automobile sales, tractor sales, fertilizer sales, steel and steel consumption and production, cement production, power consumption, okay, GST revenue collection, retail financial transactions, manufacturing PMI, performance of core industries. So this is, we have discussed in our earlier classes, performance of core industries, capital inflows and exports. So these are all indicative of the recovery of the economy, and this gives us an idea of the pattern of the recovery. So coming to our next important topic, trust, peaceful resolution, key for regional peace. It is the mentioned by Rajnath Singh, the Defense Minister of India, Rajnath Singh. Now this topic we are studying under the General Studies 2 paper, International Relations. So peace and security in the SCO, that is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, demands a climate of trust, non-aggression, respect for international rules and peaceful resolution of differences. The Defense Minister said, seen as an indirect message to China, which is engaged in a festering border row with India in Eastern Ladakh. So, Defense Minister of India has indirectly given a message to China that peace and security in the Shanghai Cooperation region demands a climate of trust, non-aggression, respect for international rules, and peaceful resolution of differences. In his address at a ministerial meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization here in the capital, Russian capital, further he said, he referred to the Second World War and said its memories teach the globe for the follies of aggression of one state upon another that brings destruction to all. So the defense minister has given reference to the World War, Second World War, regarding aggression and destruction. Both India and China are members of the SCO, an 8-nation regional grouping which primarily focuses on issues relating to security and defense. The defense minister also made comments in the presence of Chinese defense minister. Indian and Chinese troops are engaged in a bitter standoff in the eastern Ladakh region for near about 4 months. Tensions flared up in the region after China unsuccessfully attempted to occupy Indian territory in the southern bank of Pangong Lake 5 days back. Also, this year marks the 75th anniversary of the end of the World War II, as well as the formation of the United Nations, which underpins a peaceful world where international laws and sovereignty of states are respected and states refrain from unilateral aggression on other. So, the defense minister said that this year marks the ending or the anniversary of the end of the Second World War, also the formation of the United Nations, which underpins a peaceful world where international laws and sovereignty of states are respected and states refrain from any unilateral aggression on another. Further, the defense minister said that India unequivocally condemns terrorism in all forms and manifestations and condemns its proponents, adding, New Delhi values the works of the Shanghai Cooperation Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure. So it is a SCORATS. So this may be asked in a prelims, which organization has the RATS wing? So it is the SCO. RATS, full form of RATS is Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure, RATS. So this is important from the prelims point of view. Students, please make a note of this point. Now we will discuss the important editorials of the newspaper. The first article is regarding the state government's decision of having 3 new autonomous councils. Now this topic we are discussing under the paper General Studies on Assam, topic polity and governance. Now the background is that democracy can only be successful with devolution of powers, and devolution of powers is very important as it ensures that the people in the grassroots are empowered to take decisions. It provides greater freedom and flexibility at the local level. The local bodies and autonomous councils can act as the interface between the state and the local people. So here it is a good point. The local bodies and autonomous councils can act as an interface between the state institutions and people at the grassroots level. However, the autonomous councils have more powers than the local bodies and are mandated to work for a specified group or community. And for a state like Assam, which is a melting pot of people having different cultures, traditions, dialects at all, devolution of power is a must. In this context, the bills passed by the Assam Legislative Assembly to create autonomous councils for the Moran, Motok and Komotapur are a step in the right direction. The creation of autonomous councils for the Moran, Motok and Kosas Bangsis. So students, please make a note of it. A question in the prelims or mains can be asked. The autonomous councils for the Moran, Motok and Kosas Bangsis will go a long way in giving the much needed support to these communities in preserving and promoting their own distinct cultures and traditions. As the autonomous councils will be governed by the members of the committees, it would be easier to appreciate the demands and aspirations of the people and work accordingly to fulfill it. So as the autonomous councils will be governed by the members of the communities itself, so it would be easier for the autonomous councils to understand the demands and fulfill the aspirations of the people and work according to fulfill the aspirations and demands. The autonomous council should also be given powers to protect the land rights of the people living within the council areas. This in turn will ensure the lands are protected from encroachment. So as we know, it is a very very big issue that much of Assam's land is under encroachment. So this initiative of giving the land rights to the people living in the council for that particular community will ensure that lands are protected from encroachment. Land rights will not only act as a shield to protect the community, but will also play an important role in its overall growth. The councils will help to accelerate development process in those areas where the winds of development are yet to blow. Means there are many underdeveloped areas, so councils must take or have to take certain proactive steps so as to start the development process. And through this democratic decentralization of power, the autonomous councils will empower the community to participate in the planning, monitoring and implementation of the schemes earmarked for it. So the devolution of power and the mobilization of the masses will ensure that the community participation is ensured and community participation happens for the planning, monitoring and implementation of the schemes which are specifically made for the council areas or for the community members. So the councils are also empowered to enact laws like matters like social security, forests, public health with due approval from governor. So this is important point. Students, please make a note of it. The major advantage of an autonomous council is that persons heading the councils will have a better idea on the ways to take the community forward. It is hoped that the councils can not only meet the aspirations of the community but manage to ensure all-round development. So this is an important point. Students, please make a note of it. Now coming to the next editorial. This is a very important topic, relevance of Radhakrishnan's philosophy. Now this topic we can study from multiple papers, but here it is mentioned under GS1 topic post-independence history. However, this also can be studied under GS2 under governance topic for education. This can also be studied under GS4 for ethics. Okay, So this essay has multiple angles. So let us begin. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was a prominent philosopher of the world and significantly mentions that the greatest event of our age is the meeting of cultures of civilizations and of different points of view, making us understand that we should not adhere to any one kind of single faith but respect diversity of beliefs. So this is a very good introduction. Students, you can use them in the mains answers. So further, it is mentioned that Radhakrishnan in his book Eastern Religion and Western Thought writes that the individual and the society are interdependent. The sound development of the individual is the best condition for the growth of the society. So the health condition of the society is the best condition for the growth of the individual. So in order to ensure the holistic and overall growth of the individual, the health condition of the society is very important. However, the freedom of individual is also important for social harmony, and in other words, the absence of freedom or enslavement of the individual is considered a hindrance to a stabilized or peaceful society. So both are complementary to each other, the individual and the society. Radhakrishnan holds that man is not an abstract individual. He belongs to us. So this point is very important. In ethics, you can use this, that man is not an abstract individual. He belongs to a certain social group by virtue of his character, behavior, and function in the community. When the fourfold division of society is regarded as the ordinance of God or the dispensation of the Spirit, the suggestion is that spiritual wisdom, executive power, skill production, and devoted service are indispensable elements of any social order. So the object of all human action is loka samgraha, or the welfare of all. So as per Radhakrishnan, the objective of human action is the welfare of all. It implies that the duties of each individual by belonging to a social group considered the duties of the group as equally important as the another group in the context of a wider perspective, that is welfare of all. So further, the editorial discusses that as the individual is a part of the social being, society is a necessary means by which he attains the development of his personality. By his nature, man falls into four types. So Radhakrishnan mentions that man falls into four types: the man of learning and knowledge, the man of power and action, the skilled craftsman, and the laborer. So these types are determined by the prominent elements of man's active nature. He emphasizes the importance of a society as means for the development of an individual. Therefore, a peaceful society or a trouble-free society is very important in the advancement of an individual. He shows that those who are preeminently intellectual are the Brahmins, whose function is not only to seek and find knowledge, but also to communicate it to others for the enhancement of knowledge. So this is not with the four types of men as mentioned by Radhakrishnan is not to be confused with the caste system, because as per the Indian caste system, you are born to a caste. However, as Radhakrishnan mentions here, that a person who is a man of learning and knowledge, a person who is a man of action and power, the skilled craftsman and the laborer, these types of men come into these groups only and only from their actions, and they do not become these by birth itself. The true Brahmin is said to be one who has sensed the deepest self and acts out of that consciousness. So here Radhakrishnan is explaining about the consciousness of a self-realized person or a Brahmin. He views that a true Brahmin must also perceive the self within and act through self-knowledge. This self-knowledge is also called self-realization or enlightenment. So, he significantly mentions that there is no hard and fast rule that this or that man will have to perform only this or that kind of activity. People will have to perform duties according to their capacities. So, here it is mentioned that people belong to the groups according to their capacities. This kind of thinking was an important role in making a society stable or peaceful from the problems like casteism or untouchability in a true sense. So this is point where it differs from casteism. Thus, Radhakrishnan analyzed the traditional and prevalent fourfold duties of Hinduism. According to him, a Shudra can become a learned person or a fighting man or a business person if he possesses the qualities required for the purpose. So here it differentiates from the traditional caste system that a Shudra can also become a learned person if he possesses the qualities required for the purpose. That is why he points out that everyone in his own way aims at being a sage, a hero, an artist, and a servant. However, the conditions of life demand specialization within limits. Each one cannot develop within his single life the different types of excellence. So, to develop our society in a particular and to develop our nation in a generic wise, we have to be free our mind from the evils like casteism or untouchability. Radhakrishnan's thought on individual and society through the concept of fourfold scheme needs to be revisited or rethought as a model of a peaceful, loving, and harmonious society in a country like India. So, with this, student, we come to an end to today's class. We are sharing here today the answers of 5 September 2020. So, students, please make a note of it and check with your mark answers. You can pause the video here and check the answers from the screen. So with this we come to today's class. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you very much.